Morning, everybody. Well, we're up to the most important question, I believe, in paganism. And the most important question I got to ask you. Why? Why do you want to be a pagan? If you are looking to fit in with people, being a Christian is the easiest thing to do. I mean, let's face it, in the United States, roughly between 60 and 70% of the population identify themselves as Christians. That'd be the easiest route. So, why do you want to take the road less traveled? Well, there's only really one wrong answer with this question, and that's only if it's by itself. And the one wrong answer is to learn to do magic. You want to be a witch. Now, paganism is a spiritual journey as well. It is about building a bond with the world, the animals, the plants, the weather, the wind, everything around us. Even inanimate objects that are just in your house, they are a part of your world, and you need to develop a bond, a relationship, an understanding with them. Now, this is very important. Some of you are going to scoff at this, and that's fine. But if you do not develop your spirituality as a pagan, you're not going to do very well as a witch, because a witch gets their power from the world around them. An example of this would be essence casting. That is, in everything there is energy. You take a book, it has its own innate energy. Every item has a form of energy into it. If you go to an antique shop, every once in a while you might get that strange headache and all that, cold spots and all that. That's because these things have been in areas where they absorbed and focused their energies in unique ways. But so if you cannot build this relationship, this bond with the world around you, you cannot harness, you cannot collect the energy required to perform magic. That's just the way it is. So let's continue on with the whys. Now, there are a lot of good reasons to become a pagan. A lot of people would tell you it's that they were uncomfortable with the Abrahamic religions, such as Christianity, Islam, and the Judeo beliefs. And they were looking for something that was more simple, not something that was as aggressive. And that's a decent reason. There are people that are going to tell you that they are doing it to connect with the earth, and that is a wonderful reason for it. The day that I decided to become a pagan wholeheartedly, I was walking through a nature trail, surrounded by trees and all that. It was a wonderful sight. I just felt really good about myself. So we have to figure out the reason why. For me, I was not happy being a Christian. There was always something missing. I always felt that Christianity was lacking. There was this hatred and disrespect for people and animals. The world was disposable to them, and I didn't want to be around it. I didn't want to be associated with them. I am a history buff, and I was reading a lot about my ancestors. I was reading about the spread of Christianity in the British Isles. I'm Scotch-Irish, and so this was a part of my history, and it was getting me angry. And so that was one of the other forces that drove me away from Christianity. And I was seeing how my ancestors lived. And it just seemed to be so much more in harmony with everything. And so I wanted to, honor my ancestors. And that is another reason why you can become a pagan. Ancestor worship. We have some very famous people in our lives. If you do some genealogy, you can learn about ancestors being in certain areas at certain times. I have a great to the fourth power uncle that was in Kentucky during the Revolutionary War. To me, that's cool. That's very cool. In his paperwork on Ancestry.com, it is actually listed as Colonial Kentucky. I think that's like so awesome. And so I want to honor my ancestors. I want to connect with the earth. And I think there is so much out there that is not known. I strive to keep learning. There are powers and energies out there that I don't have answers to. And so I hope that with my pagan path, I can answer questions. We have also, some of us have paranormal activities that happened in our lives. Something that just was beyond science, which is what paranormal means. And we're trying to investigate it and understand it. And you have belief systems like Christianity that basically scoff at ideas like that. Whereas paganism, they embrace it. You had this event, great, and you can learn from it. You can expand your horizons. One of the many problems I had with Christianity was they didn't want you to question the beliefs. With paganism, you got to question. You got to look. You got to consider everything before you can take a step forward. And I think that's wonderful. So those are some of the reasons why you can be a pagan. And you got to step back and figure this out for yourself. My suggestion is that in your book of shadows, grab a piece of paper and write down why. Spend an hour or so, and think about why you want to be a pagan. Why are you willing to take the effort and the time to go down the road less traveled? What is in it for you? And remember that paganism is a relationship. It cannot be a one-sided relationship. We talk about what's in it for you, but what are you willing to give? Okay, so that is something for you to think about. So take care, be at peace.